Hi everyone, welcome to this video where we'll be going over how to set up emails for Canvas and how to make your email templates go from this to this. Now, there are two sections for this video. The first section will be going over how to set up outgoing emails via SendGrid for your Canvas-based template. And the second section of this video will be going over how to create new templates and triggers for new emails that you want to create to meet your application use case. Let's jump into the editor and go over how to create an account on SendGrid and grab those API keys. To enable outgoing emails, we first need to access the admin portal launch checklist. To do so, let's go to the Data tab. Let's go to App Data and click Run as Admin. This will open up the admin portal and we can click on the launch checklist. Here we can see this section, Enable Outgoing Email. First, we need to select the email provider which we would like to use. This will be SendGrid. Next, we need to create an account on SendGrid. To do so, go to sendgrid.com and click Start for Free. Go through the sign up prompts and create a new account. Once my account has been created, I can go back to the admin portal. The next step here is to add your SendGrid API keys. To do this, let's jump back over to SendGrid, click Settings and click API Keys. I'll next click Create API Key and I will just call this one as Test, but you can name it whatever's most relevant to you. I'll click Create and View. I'll then copy this. I'll jump over to my Editor tab and I'll go to my Plugins section and I'll go to the Emails for Canvas section. I'll then add in that API key on both the API key and the API key dev so that developer emails are also sent, so emails which are sent from the developer environment. This is just more useful for testing. I'll then jump back over to my admin portal and refresh the page. I can see now that my SendGrid API keys have been added. Next, I want to add the email address from which my application is to send emails from. And click Verify My Email. SendGrid will now send me an email for me to verify that I own the email address from which I want to send outgoing emails from. I'll now open my inbox and open up this email. I'll then click Verify Single Sender. Now my single sender has been verified, so I'll go back to my admin portal here and just click Verify My Email again. And perfect, we're all ready to go. So this means that all the existing straight off the bat email templates, which I can view here, are now working. Now what I want to show you is how to create a new email template for a specific use case in our application. The example I have here is we have a marketplace application with a buyers on one side and sellers on the other side. In this particular case, when a buyer makes a purchase of a new item, we want the seller to be notified that they have a new order so that they know that they need to dispatch this. So to set up this particular email, let's first click Add a New Template. And now let's name this template. So I'll name it New Order Notification. I update the template ID as New Order. The template folder can be general. Let's add a description. This template name, template ID, and description is all for our internal reference, just to make it easy for us to know what this email template information includes. Next, I want to set up the template mail merge terms. So to take this a step back and quickly explain what a mail merge term is, it's a placeholder that's placed in an email template which allows us to insert personalized information for each recipient of that email. So to give a little bit more of an example to help color your understanding, Just say, I want to send an email to a large list of customers, but I want to send each one an individualized invoice for each purchase they've made. Usually, I would have to set this up by manually creating an invoice for each customer, but instead, I can create a template with mail merge terms for the customer's name, the customer's address, the invoice amount, amongst other details which I want to insert and personalize. Now, when I send out these invoices in bulk, the mail merge terms in the templates will be replaced with the customer's information, which is stored in our database. Bringing this back to the example that we have here on the screen, where we want to provide a notification to the seller of a new order on their seller account, the two template mail merge terms that I really want for this particular use case are the first name, so that the seller is addressed by their first name. So I'll say, hi, seller's first name. And I also want the product name so that the seller understands and knows which product has been purchased. So to add these in, I'll click Edit Terms, and then I'll add in first name. So I write first name and I put asterisks on either side. I'll also add product name. And then I'll click Save Terms. I'll also include a button in this email, and then I'll click Create Template. I'm now going to fill out the information that I want this email template to have. For the subject, I want it to say, you have a new order. For the body, I want to fill out the information that I want the seller to see. So I want it to be a personalized name. So I'm going to write hi, and then I want it to be their first name. So I want it to be that mail merge term that I created. To add this in, I'm going to add an asterisk. This will now bring a drop down of all the mail merge terms that I've added. The one that I want here is first name because I want that personalized email. Then I will write, you have received a new order for, and here I want to add the product name so that the seller understands what the new order is for. And then I'll write, please check the seller portal to fulfill order. I'll then update the text that I want the button to have, which is view order. And then I can add a signature if I would require. Here, I'm going to leave this empty and I'll click Save Changes. Now, the next step that we have to do here is we need to create the workflows and the actions that support this email template actually being sent and triggered from our Bubble application. Now, there's two ways we can set it up. We can either use front-end workflows or back-end workflows. Back-end workflows ultimately support more complex email templates, and they allow us to control the scheduling of emails in a more granular manner. However, it does require a paid plan to use. I'm going to show you how to do both. The first one I'm going to show you here is how to set it up using the front-end workflows. Let's jump back over to our editor tab and go to the reusable element email workflows. If I click on the workflow tab here, I can see a number of custom workflows already set up, and each of these custom workflows actually link to the email templates which are already set up. So for example, I can see send welcome email here. And if I go here, there's a welcome email as well. Now I want to set up another email workflow, and I can see here that there is a template already set up for me. So I'll copy this template and I'll just paste it here. And I'll rename this copy one to be relevant to the template that I've just want to set up, which is new order notification. Now, the next step that I've got to do is I've got to go to step 1 here, and I want to change search for email templates, the ID name. So I want to link this to the email template that I've just set up. So I need the ID name of my email template. I can get this by going to the admin portal, going to new order notification, clicking edit here, and getting the template ID from here. So I'll copy that one, jump back over here, and I'll just pop it in. Now, we're not making any changes to this field. This just makes it easy for us to reference. So to give you an example of how this works, if I go to step 3 here, and I just scroll down, I can see that the subject and the body is from result of step 1 text subject and text body. The reason why we do this is it just makes it a lot easier for us to store this information in step 1 and then link it by using result of step 1 instead of in the other case we would have to do a search for email template, link it to the template ID here, and then call it to the body. And then we would have to do that for the subject, we'd have to do it for the body, we'd have to do it for include button. So just doing this just makes our lives a lot easier. And it also means that if we make a mistake, we only need to change it in one place, which is here. Now, the next step that I need to do is I need to update my mail merge terms. I can see here that the mail merge term first name is already set up for me, so I don't need to make any changes there. If I go back to my admin portal, I can see that my other mail merge term is product name. What I'll do now is I'll set another key value and I'll set it to be product name. It has to be the mail merge term in the exact same format that I've provided in the admin portal. I'll delete this one, app name, because I'm not using it. Now I need to link this to the product information itself. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on the custom workflow itself. And I can see here that it has the workflows user. I'm going to add a new parameter called workflows product. I'm going to change this to type product. Now, this isn't clear right now, but when we set up our trigger action for this particular email, it'll become really clear why we're doing this. If I go back to step 3, I can then link this to be workflows products name. So this will allow for the dynamic data of that particular product name as it relates to that particular order being provided here. Next, I want to change the button link. So I have a button here, and what I want to write here is website home URL. So this will give us the base of the URL here. So it will give us this particular base. Next, I want to add in the page that I want users to be directed to. And this one is going to be seller. So this will direct the user to the seller portal where they can view their order. So now our front-end email workflow is all set up. What I want to show you quickly now is how to set it up using the back-end workflows. To do so, I'll click on this drop-down and click back-end workflows. Just like before, there's an API workflow called send email template, which I'll copy and I'll paste. I'll update this to send email new order notification. Because it is a back-end workflow, instead of having a space, we pop an underscore. I don't want to expose this as a public API workflow. Just like before, I want to make changes to the email template variant. So I'll click on this here and I'll update the ID name. I'll jump back to my admin portal, copy this template ID, and I'll just paste it in here. Just like before, I want to update the send basic email. I'll scroll down and I'll remove the app name because I don't need it. I have the first name mail merge term already created. I'll create a new mail merge term for product name. I'll click on the API workflow itself and I'll add a new parameter with the key product, and I'll make the type product as well. Again, this will be more clear when I trigger the workflow itself as to how this information is transferred across. I'll click on the send basic email here. and I'll go back to the mail pair merged term and I'll click product's name so that it's replaced by the product's name in the order. I'll scroll up to the button link here, and because our email template has a button, I want to provide a link. So it already has the website home URL, and I want to update this to seller to link to that seller portal. Now, my backend email workflow is also all set up. Next, I'm going to show you how to set up the actions to trigger these email workflows. To do so, I'm going to go to the page product. The reason why is we want to trigger this email new order notification when a user or a buyer creates a new order, so when they actually purchase the product. To do so, we'll jump over to the design tab. We'll go to the button here, buy now, and click add a workflow. Usually there'd be a number of associated workflows to create that order, to save that order to the database, or to also charge a credit card. Because of what we're trying to show today, I'm not going to create those workflows. All I'm going to show is how to create that email trigger workflow. To do so, I'll jump back to the design tab. I'll open up the pop-up hidden variables. I'll go down to the reusables. I'll go to the email workflows reusable, and I'll just pop it in here. Next, I'll go back to the workflow tab. I'll go to buy now. What I want to do now is I want to trigger a custom event from a reusable element. The reusable element is the email workflow which I just set up, and the custom event is the new order notification which we've set up. Now the workflows user is the user whom we want to send this email to, and that's going to be the creator of the product. So to give a little bit more clarity as to what it is, right now we have a buyer, and a buyer has clicked buy now. They want to purchase the product. And in this particular use case, we want the seller of the product, the creator of the product, to be notified that they have a new order. So the workflows user here is going to be the product itself. So I'm going to set this to product. So I'm going to set this to var page product, products creator. So just to give you an overview of what var page products is, if I go back to my design tab and I go here, I have a hidden variable which is var page product, and that's just the current page's product. The workflows product is going to be var page products product. And now my front end workflow is all set up and ready to go. Now, in this particular case, I'm going to just show you exactly how the backend workflow setup works as well by just adding it straight in this particular workflow here. I'm going to schedule a backend workflow. So schedule an API workflow. I'm going to choose send email new order notification. I'm going to set the schedule date. So something really powerful for scheduling an API workflow or using a backend workflow is the ability to schedule when I want this API workflow to be triggered. So I can actually set this to a day or two in the future, or whatever really works for my particular use case. Now the recipient is going to be the exact same as before, and the product is going to be the same. So now our backend workflow is all set up as well. Something really important to note with the backend workflow is the ability to ignore privacy rules when running the workflow, which a front-end workflow does not support. So this becomes important when we're sending an email to anyone other than the current user's email, which in this particular use case is happening. The reason why is a buyer is purchasing a product and then an email is being sent to the seller's email. Usually the buyer isn't able to see the seller's email in our privacy rule setup because we don't want buyers to be able to email or contact the sellers externally to our platform. This can make it difficult when we're setting up these email workflows. So it's useful to have or to set up backend workflows and use this option of ignoring privacy rules. When this workflow is completed on the back end, it can pull the email information and send the email to the seller without exposing this email on the front end, so the buyer never actually sees this email information. As a last step, something we need to do is we need to go back to the admin portal, go to the email tab here, go to new order notification, the template we set up, and just click this toggle so that it is active. Alrighty, and that video is a wrap. I hope that this particular video has given you a much better and in-depth understanding of how to set up email templates, email workflows, and the SendGrid integration for Canvas. If you ever have any questions about this, please leave a comment below the video or shout out to us on the Canvas forum.